It's that time of the year. This is the new iPhone 6s and the new iPhone 6s Plus. Apple's hardware revision to the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus, keeping the design intact. There are a lot of little new changes inside the new iPhones, making them completely new devices. But are they worthy upgrades? And are they worth switching over from Android? My name is Bharat Nagpal, and today we're going to review the new iPhone 6s and the new iPhone 6s Plus. The minute you get your first look of the new iPhones, you're going to be like, they look exactly the same as the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus. Well, that's because they do look exactly the same as the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus, and to an unknown eye, they're exactly the same devices. The only thing really differentiating the iPhone 6 from the 6s is the new S moniker on the back of the device. Build quality is a lot more improved, however. The new iPhone 6s and the 6s Plus, thanks to last year's bend gate issues, now use aluminum 7000 for the outer shell, which is a stronger and sturdier material. You also have a reinforced cage on the inside of the device, giving it additional strength. What Apple has secretly done is also made the iPhone 6s and 6s Plus water resistant. You also have water gaskets around the ports, and the insides, the whole logic board is coated with waterproof materials. This is something that Apple hid from the consumers, and for good reason. If they would have told the world that the iPhones are water resistant, then everyone would have gone out and tested them. This way now, when you drop your phone into a puddle or into your toilet, you're not going to be struggling to get it working again. The phones are going to last longer, and consumers are going to be happy with the new iPhone that they buy, knowing that it's going to be water resistant. Biggest changes for the iPhone in terms of design is the addition of the new rose gold color. Now, rose gold colors have been seen on phones for quite a while, and now Apple has also decided to add another color to the lineup of the iPhones. As always, as it's a new color, it's the most popular phone this year. In most cases, the rose gold color was sold out before any other color was sold out in pre-orders as well as online. This means that people always like a new color, and hopefully next year Apple will add a bunch of new colors for the new iPhone 7. But this time around, the iPhone 6s and the 6s Plus play majorly on hardware upgrades and not design upgrades. On the inside is a new Apple A9 chip along with an M9 core processor. You also have improved RAM with 2GB to support all your gaming and performance needs. Cameras get their long overdue bump up to a 12 megapixel camera at the back and a 5 megapixel camera at the front. The rear camera now shoots 4K video, and both of these cameras can now shoot something that Apple calls live photos. One of the biggest changes on the iPhone now is the new 3D Touch display. It's based on the same Force Touch trackpad technology, but this time around the whole display is not a button, but it's rather pressure sensitive. Now, the whole hype around 3D Touch is the fact that companies like BlackBerry have tried it in the past by making the whole display tactile. The technology is slightly different on the new iPhones. The displays are more pressure sensitive, and based on where your finger is going to be on the screen and how much pressure you apply to the screen is what results in the outcome that you get. So whether you're hard pressing on an application to get a contextual menu, or you want to preview your mail or messages, you can also peek into your images and video on apps like WhatsApp. And the more applications start to utilize the 3D Touch technology, the more you'll see uses for it. Right now, in the way that Apple has implemented it, with the user interface and the graphical layer in the background, it looks absolutely brilliant. When you 3D touch onto an application, the background blurs out and that application becomes your priority. This overall feel makes you feel like you're in multiple layers of the display. The capacitive touchscreen also works in a layer form now. So the harder you press, the more deeper into the menu you get. The cameras now shoot something called live photos. Apart from your 12 megapixel capture, the camera will also store a buffer of 1.5 seconds before you click the picture and 1.5 seconds after you've clicked the picture. This 3-second video clip is saved as a movie file behind the image. So your image in itself is not affected. When you hard press on the image, this movie file plays back and you see what Apple calls live photo. You're essentially reliving the moment in which you click the picture. This may not work as well for selfies or for static shots, but if you're in a busy place, like a concert or you're dancing somewhere and you capture a picture, the moment of it would be really fun to look at. Now, thanks to 3D Touch's deep integration with the new iOS 9, you can set your pictures, your live pictures, as wallpapers. You already get a bunch of live wallpapers, which you can preview by hard pressing on the screen. Now you can set your live photos as your wallpapers, and then you can preview your live photos and relive your moments directly from your lock screen if that's something that you want to do. The cameras in itself get a big bump up, not giving up on the image quality of the iPhones. The iPhone is the most popular camera in the world, and with the iPhone 6s bumping the megapixels, it's only going to get a lot more popular. 12 megapixel shots are captured at an f2.2 aperture, so low light performance is not as good as the Samsung Galaxy S6 or the S6 Edge, which come with the f1.9 aperture. The Galaxy S6 series also has wider angle lenses, which means that when you compare the field of view with the iPhone, you get more detail on the Samsung Galaxy S6 and the S6 Edge. Of course, they also have 16 megapixel captures versus the 12 megapixel captures on the iPhone. But the way that Apple is processing and saving these images, the image quality seems to be far better on the final image. High dynamic range pictures are absolutely brilliant. You get a lot of detail, especially if you're doing landscape shots. You still get the same camera user interface, allowing you to customize where you put your focus points, adjust your exposure, or lock your exposure and focus. Now, if you're recording 4K video, you'll need to go enable this from the settings panel, because 4K video captures 375 megabytes in 1 minute. And Apple has turned this feature off by default to prevent 16 gigabyte users from running out of space. So if you plan on capturing 4K video, you should definitely go for the 64 or the 128 gigabyte option. Another thing that the iPhone 6s Plus has over the iPhone 6s is optical image stabilization, which will be better for those who want to capture video and have shaky hands like me. Either way, the cameras on the back are really improved and offer an overall better experience for those who have been clicking pictures on the iPhone. The front cameras also get their worthy upgrade, a 5 megapixel front facing shooter now versus the 1.2 megapixel FaceTime HD camera that we've been seeing in the past. It still captures live photos just the same way that the rear camera does, and it makes for some fun moments. Video recording has been kept at 720p for the front camera, which is highly disappointing. Now, in terms of performance, the iPhone 6s and the 6s Plus are definitely better. The additional gigabyte of RAM will go a long way, and your overall day-to-day use becomes faster and snappier. If you're playing games or doing multitasking on the iPhone, you'll feel that the experience is a lot better on the 6s, even if you're coming from the 6. With the A9 chipset and the M9 coprocessor, your battery life improvements are also there. You get far better battery life on the new iPhone 6s when you compare it to the iPhone 6 in the same environment. Network strength is also better. We found networks in places that the iPhone 6 struggled with getting LTE networks. The iPhone 6s and 6s Plus managed without any issues. This in turn will also relate to better battery life because the device will search lesser for networks. Overall, we were able to get 6 to 7 hours of talk time on either of the new iPhones, which is far better than the 5 to 6 hours that we saw on the previous generation iPhones. About 8 hours of screen on time between going through apps, playing some games, capturing video, and browsing the internet is fairly impressive for the new iPhones, despite the fact that they have a lesser battery capacity. The iPhone 6s comes with a 4.7-inch display, and the iPhone 6s Plus comes with a 5.5-inch 1920 by 1080p display. The iPhone 6 Plus is definitely a higher resolution display, but the screen size is also bigger, so it retains the Retina capability on both the devices. Apple has not bumped up the resolution of the display, and we are hoping that they do that in the next generation of the iPhone, which is the iPhone 7. Although a lot of people are disappointed that the resolution of the iPhones remains that low, but it matches with Apple's Retina display policy. The new iPhones are slightly heavier and clunkier than previous generation iPhones, but to an average user you might not notice them. The weight difference is quite significant, and the new iPhones feel a lot more heftier in the hand. That being said, the new features add great value to the new iPhone 6s and the 6s Plus, and if you're moving in from the iPhone 6, you'll really appreciate these features. However, you can let go of this version of the iPhone and wait for the iPhone 7 if you've just recently bought an iPhone 6 or a 6 Plus. If you're not really keen on getting 3D Touch because it's not available across applications at the moment, but at the rate that application developers are getting into the 3D Touch ecosystem, it seems that it'll happen sooner than later for most applications, while the rest will follow. The gaming implications of 3D Touch are yet to be seen, and we're yet to see a good developer come out with a 3D Touch game, which will all happen by the time the next iPhone comes out. You can also enable 3D Touch by installing a jailbreak tweak on your previous generation iPhone, and the iPhone 6 becomes capable of doing 3D touch in a different format. You're not pressing down on the screen, whereas you're swiping up to get the second contextual menu. The iPhone 6 and the 6 Plus were the most selling phones of 2014, selling over 190 million versus the 360 million of Samsung throughout its model range and across the globe. Which means that the iPhone is the most popular handset, and with the iPhone 6s and 6s Plus, it's only going to get better. Now, if you're buying the new iPhones in India, it's worthy of noting that the price difference is quite significant. India is the most expensive place to buy the iPhone 6s and the 6s Plus, with price range differentiating between $325 more than that on the US price bracket. That means you're paying approximately rupees 20,000 more than what it will cost you to buy an iPhone in the US. Now, if you're traveling overseas, you can buy an iPhone and bring it to India. And by the end of the year, Apple is all set to open its own retail stores and service centers, which means that getting service on internationally bought iPhones is not going to be a problem, as Apple's global service policy is going to follow. So what do you think, guys? Are you going in for the new iPhone 6s or 6s Plus? Or do you think that some other Android flagship is going to make for a better device? Leave your questions, comments, and feedback in the comment section below. You can go on ahead and read our full review of the new iPhone on iGyan.in. Catch us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/iGyan, youtube.com/iGyanTV. This has been Bharat Nagpal. Thank you guys for watching.